most of us, I think, really want to be able to spend the time, not just to talk about, for example, what's the cause of a headache or why we're having difficulty with our stomach, but also talking about family members, talking about how the job is going, where we're going on vacation, and spending that time.
And I couldn't believe at first appointment, he spent almost an hour talking to me, going all over family history. I mean, I've never had a doctor spend that much time with me.
Just knowing he's just a phone call away, you know, it's really convenient and comforting. You just disbelief, I guess, that you do get to spend so much time with your doctor one-on-one, answering questions about what you want out of his care.
If I can get through this without crying, I mean, he was so great explaining the process with my mother. You know, as her health declined, and this is what you're going to see, this is what you're going to expect, you know, and dealing with the emotions of it. He really was just so great. You know, he made it as good as it could possibly be, and as bearable as it could possibly be. And I don't know what I would have done without him through it.
Dr. Lucarini was what I always looked for in a physician. Dr. Lucarini was very personable, made me feel right at home. He has always greeted me with a hug, and that's unusual. You don't find that kind of compassion in docs today. And I work for, 52 of them now, providing care to his patients. It was more important than anything else. The big insurance companies didn't matter.
So
when I got connected with Dr. Lucarini, it was like heaven. You know, I didn't have to worry about the 5 minutes. I didn't have to worry about whether or not he was going to understand my frustrations, my fears, my tears, all of it.
Calling you, I know your name comes up, I know who it is, and I know that this has to be dealt with right away. That's not necessary for you to come and see me in many cases. Happy to take care of you, we'll always follow up. And I think that level of understanding can't come from a standard practice where you have thousands of patients and then the doctor.
And when I can call him on my deathbed a week after I started my new job and have him prescribe medication time, it's kind of like, okay, this is the man that's going to take care of me.
I am really allergic to ant bites, and I had an ant bite on my ankle, and I had been keeping an eye on it for a couple of weeks, but then it got to the point where it was really, really infected, and it looked terrible, and I knew that I had to see someone for the bite. So I called my dermatologist, and they couldn't get me in for a month and a half, and then I called another doctor that I had seen, and they couldn't get me in for 2 weeks. And so I didn't know who else to go to, so I did some research online and I found Dr. Lucarini and asked if he would see me, and he told me all about the direct access medicine. And I liked the idea of being able to see a doctor right away when I needed to see him, you know, if it was an emergency, and not have to drag my 3 kids to an emergency room and see a doctor who doesn't know my history and who might not.
He saved my husband's life.
Oh yeah, a couple times, many times, over and over.
I was trying to get him to go to see a doctor because he was a dentist, and he didn't believe in doctors.
I knew more than most doctors that I went
So
to. I was really
You're like
he liked
most
to
of
go
my
to
doctors.
doctors.
Yeah.
He met Dr.
We went.
Lucarini, and he said, I'm going to go to him.
Yeah.
I said, I'm just going to go have a checkup.
Yeah, 'cause he's down to earth. He explains things. I feel like he's my doctor.
The relationship between patient and doctor is starting to change in this type of practice. So it's not only just a privilege of taking care of patients and what they need, but it's also a matter of changing the whole culture of medicine so that I can be more of a partner in health and not simply a service that's paid for by the patient.
Everybody's tired of not being able to go to your doctor
Not being able to see.
and not being able to see him when you need to. And it's very, very frustrating when you need somebody and you can't go and see them right away. I'll tell you, the emotion I had when I walked out of here, I turned to my husband and I said, finally, somebody who cares. The minute we walked out of this office, or the minute we walked into the office, I knew he cared. But we walked out and I was overwhelmed with the fact that we sat here and talked for an hour as he went through our, diagnosis and problems and what we were, what we had wrong and what medications and stuff. I thought, nobody's ever taken the time to do that before. No.
I feel my personal health is Dr. Mike's passion. That's